In this Photoshop demonstration, I'm going to show you some advanced illustration techniques that are non-destructive but will create pattern and texture using filters and blending modes. The first thing we want to do to make sure that our editing is non-destructive is to go to our filter menu and choose Convert for Smart Filters. Now, if you don't have smart filters, you can always duplicate the layer so you're working on a safe layer. A little icon will show up in Photoshop that shows you that it's a smart layer filter. We have a lot of different filters we can choose from to create artistic effects. Let's take a look at Distort and Glass. For many of our filters, Photoshop will open up a filter menu. Get this so we can see the image, which will allow us to adjust our individual filter choice. And also, it gives us several other filters if we want to jump around and look at different effects. In this instance, I'm using block glass to make it look as though we were looking at the image through block glass. The filter will be applied, but if you look at your layer menu, we have a smart filter that gives us a layer mask, like we saw in our first presentation. Because this is a layer mask, I can now paint out areas that I'd like to have without that effect. So in this case, the cable car and the street behind it and in front can be painted with a mask, and so the filter effect is kind of like a framing element for the cable car. Another interesting effect is applying a pattern fill. A pattern fill is here in our fill and adjustment layer in the bottom right corner with our menus, in our layers menu. And at the very top, the top three are fill layers. We're going to choose pattern. There are many patterns to choose from. They pop out in this menu, and you can also get further patterns. I'm going to open up Artistic Surfaces. Append means add to those that are already there. Perhaps I'll choose a weave. Because it's an adjustment layer, I can increase the size of the pattern, and I can apply that pattern. I can't see the image underneath it right now because I need to change the blending mode. The blending mode changes how we see through a layer. We could change that with opacity, but that just means the transparency of the image. When we change the blending, it actually affects the way that the values and the colors of the top layer allow us to see through. So if I change this to multiply, all of the white areas will become transparent, and the black areas will be darkened. Again, I can go in with a layer mask. This time I'm going to choose the gradient tool, and I'm going to choose the default black and white and use a radial gradient. Again, clicking on the layer mask to make sure I'm drawing on the mask. Click and drag from the center of the cable car to create a mask of texture. This is one of the ways that we can control our editing non-destructively to create interesting textural effects.